Hi guys, welcome back to the Average Hashtag Gamer channel. It's AP here and we're back today with our mini-series Can We Get Nico on the Podium episode 3. If you haven't seen episode 2 yet, here come some highlights.
Alright, well done off the line, we're in a good position.
Round 3 of the Asia Pacific series is in China. Now if you're joining us for the first time today, remember we're doing 5 lap races and the grids in this series are completely randomised. So let's find out where we are on the grid. Here it comes. So first is Perez, second Kubica, third is Bottas, fourth is Nico Hulkenberg. We have a chance today. The biggest threat is Bottas and the second biggest threat looks like Leclerc. I think as long as we don't get held up too long behind Kubica and we can get past Perez quickly, we have got an outstanding chance of getting Nico on the podium today. So stick around, 5 laps of high octane action at China. Let's head to the grid. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 lights. And we've made not too bad a start. Bottas has had a great start and is already up the inside of Perez. Magnussen's having a look up the left hand side of us. We fight him off, we've held him off, we're still in 4th. Bottas is having a look for the lead now off Kubica. Can we use the gap he's created to get down the inside of Perez? Yes, we can. Perez is fighting back though into turn 2. He's got the inside line. It's going to be a drag race if we can keep up with him on the outside. Here we go. We're drag racing down. We've beaten Perez into 3rd place. Surely we can dive up the inside of Kubica now. Down to 2nd. We've got the inside line. Kubica leaves us plenty of space. It's a drag race out of turn 3 and we're up to 2nd. This is not over yet. We may be in 2nd place, but we've still got 4 laps to go. And remember, we've got a rampaging Charles Leclerc in 7th place. We need to use Bottas to tow us along to get away from Kubica and hope that Kubica can hold up Leclerc and Perez. Perez is always going to be a threat in a Mercedes powered car versus a Renault powered car. So stick with me because this race is by no means over and this podium is not guaranteed. As we come out of the long turn onto the longer straight in F1, we're trying to stick with Bottas, but that Mercedes is absolutely immense on straight line speed. We've turned our engine up to rich to see if we can get a bit closer to him. You can see from the track map we've got a big gap back to Kubica, but Perez is already straight past him. So he's held up Perez a little bit. It looks like on the track map Leclerc might be the next one going past Kubica, so we've got to use this time wisely. Whilst we've got that tractor of a Williams between us and Leclerc, we need to pull away. So here we come around to start lap 2. Gap's fairly stable between Nico Hulkenberg and Bottas. We've got a big gap back to Perez that we need to take advantage of. We seem to have closed up to Bottas in sector 1 in turn 1. Our setup was quite good for China for the first sector, but the straight line speed of that Mercedes is very difficult. Perez is now holding up Leclerc. And so we need to pull away, we need to stick to Bottas as much as we can. We've gone purple in sector 1. It's about the best we can do to try and get ahead of Leclerc and stay ahead of Leclerc. We dive down through the fast sector 2. This is one of my favourite sectors of any lap in F1. If you hook it up perfectly, it feels amazing to drive, and Nico Hulkenberg is doing a great job here. As we come out of the twisty sector 2, it looks like we've maintained the gap on Perez. Gap to Bottas is growing, but that's okay. We're in a Renault. We can't keep up with that Mercedes for 5 laps. And here we go, diving around the long right-hander onto the longer straight in F1 for the 2nd time. Bottas's gap has got bigger. Kept the engine turned up to rich. Can Perez hold Leclerc? If we look at the track map, it looks like Leclerc is getting past Perez right now, and indeed he has passed Perez. So now we're under pressure. Now we need to try and stay away from Leclerc as much as possible because Perez is probably going to get towed back up to us using Leclerc's speed. So here we go, diving down to lap 3. DRS is now available. This is a huge threat to our podium chances now because we're not going to be able to get to within a second of Bottas, so we've got to try and stay away from Leclerc and Perez. And you can see on the track map, Perez and Leclerc are working quite closely together to pull themselves back to me and Bottas, but I think Bottas is gone now. The challenge here is whether I can stay away from Leclerc and whether I can stay away from Perez. 3/10 down in sector 1, not my best sector 1 ever. And Perez and Leclerc are starting to pull away from Kubica, who is holding up everyone else at the moment, which is brilliant. Means if anything goes wrong, we're still going to get a strong finishing position, but remember, we are in a great shout to get Nico on the podium for the first time in his career. Here we go, coming down into the first part of sector 3. Oh, we've missed our braking point. Oh, that's a disaster. We missed the braking point for that turn. That eats up our lead. We're going to be under loads of... There's Leclerc on our right side, putting loads of pressure on us through the long right-hander. And now we're under lots of pressure. We've got lots of problems now. We've got Leclerc right by us. We've got the Mercedes-powered Racing Point behind us. And we've got a real problem. Here comes Leclerc into the hairpin. We'll set him up for a switchback. So here we go, down to 2, sorry. Take a tighter line out of the corner, and we secure second place again. But he's going to have DRS going over down the start-finish straight. Is he going to be able to overtake us? Can we hold a Ferrari off? I think we all know the answer to this question. Here he comes. All right, we've got 1 3/4 laps left. Can we keep Perez off our back? He's right on our tail now. We've actually stayed with Leclerc quite well, but I'm worried. I don't want to fight too hard with Leclerc. I want to be able to get away from Perez, and fighting with Leclerc, if that opportunity comes, is just not worth it. If we can stay within a second of Leclerc up to the DRS down the long straight, that will really help us against Perez. It's a stupid mistake to miss my braking point last lap, and hopefully it doesn't cost Nico his first podium. A little bit wide there, under pressure from Perez. A little bit wide there as well, still under pressure from Perez. He's very close by. We'll find out what the gap is now. What's the gap? Oh, he's in DRS range. We've got a real threat, but we've managed to stay within half a second of Leclerc. That means we're going to get DRS going down the straight, which is going to help us fend off Perez. This is it. This is the race for the podium. Kubica's ruined everyone else's race. It's me, Leclerc and Perez. And we seem to be closing up on the Ferrari, which is a bit of a surprise, but with DRS wide open, we've got an opportunity a bit far back for that. Remember, we're trying to keep Perez behind us. We should get DRS again going into the start-finish straight. Perez seems to have dropped back a little bit under braking to the hairpin. Here we go then, we come down to the final lap of the race. We've got DRS going into turn 1. Perez has dropped back to 1.3 seconds. We've got a real chance now. If we can maintain this gap to Perez and avoid letting him have DRS down the main straight, we've got a real opportunity of getting Nico his first podium. Here we go, good drive off turn 2 and 3, coming down into the hairpin where we've been strong under braking the whole race. Down to 2. Nice line through there, good drive out. Leclerc's actually helping us pull away. Bottas has got an unassailable lead now. Leclerc's looking strong in second. Perez has dropped back. Can we avoid any more mistakes and make sure that Nico Hulkenberg gets his first podium? It looks like Leclerc's got a better drive off the end of sector 2 than Nico Hulkenberg has. So we need to check the gap to Perez to make sure he's not got DRS. He's 1.1 seconds behind. We still need to do a good drive. This race is not over by any means yet. We've had a great drive out the chicane through the long right-hander. We've had a great drive. We're not going to get DRS. It looks like Perez isn't either. And as we come down the straight for the final time, Leclerc's in second. Perez is nowhere near us for the dive. Have we done it? Have we achieved what we thought would be impossible? And here we go. Perez is nowhere near us. Can we start to celebrate the final corner? And it looks like the 2009 GP2 champion, the 2015 Le Mans winner, is now a podium finisher in F1. 180 races, 1 podium. Well done, Nico Hulkenberg. Enjoy your first podium in F1. And there's our race winner, Valtteri Bottas, and there is Nico Hulkenberg, standing on the podium for the very first time in his career. Nico, I hope you enjoy that champagne. Oh, let's get off these two, they're always on the podium. Where's Nico? There he is, spraying his champagne. And then we get a glimpse of his arm, his first podium, and all we see is his arm and a little glimpse of him. And there he is, waving to his fans on the podium for the very first time. So we still have 2 races left in the Asia Pacific Series, and I hope you can join me for them to see if we can add to Nico Hulkenberg's podium tally. Thank you for riding on board with me today, and if you've enjoyed today's video, please remember to click the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to watch more content from my channel, it's on the left hand side of the screen now. I've been AP, and I'll see you soon.